I understand why you would donate to third world countries. The commercials make you feel guilty for living in a first world nation. But why should you donate your pocket change when countries already give out so much foreign aid? America alone spent $35 billion on foreign aid in 2014. $8.4 billion was used towards global health programs. $5.9 billion was used for foreign military financing, $4.6 billion was used for economic support, and $2.5 billion was used for development assistance. Approximately 76% of the world receives some form of economic assistance from the US, the majority located within Africa and the Near East. With so much foreign aid, why is the situation in developing countries still shitty? Foreign aid is not effective. Sub-Saharan Africa received the largest share of economic assistance at 25%, with 20 countries receiving over $100 million in economic assistance too. Yet the situation over there is still terrible. This nation has the highest prevalence of undernutrition according to the latest projection by the United Foods and Agriculture Organization. America can't even afford to be generous. America is $16 trillion in debt. In America, there are 46 million people living in poverty. 96 million people in America are unemployed. 21% of people under the age of 18 live in poverty too. Yet, regardless of this, America is still the most generous nation. On top of that, there are charities that are asking for your donations to send to these countries. UNICEF alone received $600 million in donations in 2015. When I was in school, there was always a UNICEF fundraiser every few months. Children who donated to UNICEF were allowed to not wear their uniforms for a day. But only 3 cents of every dollar donated to UNICEF is given to the poor people. The rest is pocketed by UNICEF. The CEO of UNICEF makes $100,000 a month. UNICEF isn't the only charity like this. Most charities are shitty and corrupt. They scam generous people and hurt people in developing countries. For example, UNICEF wasted $27 million on a program in West Africa. They were trying to prevent children from dying, but a study has shown that there was a higher survival rate in areas that UNICEF's program didn't affect. When we donate to third world countries, we are hurting their economy. For example, when you donate your old clothing, it gets sold to exporters then put on third world markets for a discount price. Why should anyone in the third world bother creating their own clothes to sell when there is an abundance of extremely cheap used clothing for the population to buy? This deprives citizens of a lot of jobs they could have, and the economy cannot grow. Third world countries are getting plenty of foreign aid and help from charities, but it's only exacerbating the issue. Unfortunately, foreign aid is ineffective and wasteful. These countries that we are giving aid to have the largest birth rate in the world. By giving aid, we keep these people alive long enough so they could fuck like rabbits then die a miserable, painful death, most likely due to unavoidable disease. Overpopulation is a huge issue for the third world. There are so many people alive today suffering in developing nations that wouldn't be alive if we just left those countries alone. The third world doesn't even appreciate the first worlders that come over to help them. It's not uncommon to hear about aid workers going missing or getting killed in the dangerous countries they try to help. What's the point of risking your own life to help these failing countries when there are people in your own country that could use your assistance instead? It's not bravery, it's pure selfishness. The Medical School Association warns that America will face a shortage of 90,000 doctors by 2025. We can throw as much money and resources as we can at developing nations, but we can't do anything about the government corruption. Thanks to government corruption, a lot of foreign aid gets misused. A perfect example of government corruption is in Equatorial Guinea, which is a country in Central Africa. The dictator's son Teodrin lives like a king. American law enforcement officials believe that most or perhaps all of his wealth comes from corruption connected to oil plus gas reserves in Equatorial Guinea. Since the mid-1990s, Equatorial Guinea has become one of Sub-Sahara's largest oil producers. With a population of almost 2 million, it is the richest country per capita in Africa. However, the wealth is distributed very unevenly, plus few people have benefited from the oil riches. So, while the dictator's son is jet-setting all over the world with his girlfriend, his country continues to be a source plus destination for women plus children subjugated to forced labor plus sex trafficking, according to a U.S. Trafficking in Persons Report 2012. The report rates Equatorial Guinea as a third-tier country, the lowest possible rating. Countries whose governments do not fully comply with the minimum standards and are not making significant efforts to do so. The UN says that less than half of the population of Equatorial Guinea has access to clean drinking water, but none of that matters to the president or his son. Their interests include fancy cars, multi-million-dollar houses, and their hip-hop record label. In June 2012, the Department of Justice filed an amended complaint against them after a judge requested more evidence of the alleged corruption. The revised complaint states that he spent $315 million on properties plus luxury goods between 2004 and 2011. Is it really our responsibility to take care of developing countries at our own expense? We had to build our nation up from the bottom on our own. Our nations had to survive through winters, brutal wars, famine, and disease. They had to hunt for their own food as well. They did not have donations. It's only fair that they go through the same struggle our nation did. If they can't succeed on their own, then they are not fit to survive. We cannot babysit these countries forever. What's the point of helping them out when they can't even help themselves? This is reality. We have our own people and our own problems that need to be taken care of. If that sounds harsh, well, nature is harsh. Thanks for watching, guys, and stay sane.